guys too, because we're actual friends. When we shout people out, it's almost always because we like the person's content,
Yeah.
And it's not because these people are sucking our dicks or anything, or like doing stuff for us. It's because
it's good content.
Yeah, it's because we've watched them and we know that they're like underrated, and we want to bring them up in subscribers. So we reach out to them and we're like, hey, do you want to, like, I can add this in my video, or do you want to collab because I really like your shit? It should never be like, I'll put you in my video only because you're pretty much my slave and you do this shit for me whenever I ask you. Like, that's fucked up.
Like, you can look at any of our channels and see that 3 names that seem to come up fairly often amongst the 3 of us are Killisant, Sauron, and Lord Bung.
Oh, yeah.
Those 3 in particular are unanimously, across the 3 of us, are some of our favorite YouTubers, period.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, size disregarded. Those 3, which you should check out. I'm going to link them in the description for this podcast.
Leon
because,
Lush,
like,
too. He's really good.
Oh, Leon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Leon is a fucking brilliant man. I love that guy. Like, there's all these people that we actually talk about pretty frequently. Maybe not in videos necessarily, but we'll talk about them on Twitter, or even in private, in conversations, we'll talk about their most recent videos because we genuinely like their content.
Yeah.
And like you said, that is the way that I think it should be. It shouldn't be how some people, you said that it shouldn't be because they did a bunch of work for them. I agree completely. And I also think it's unfortunate when there's these channels that are wholly dedicated to making videos on people for reactions.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with 2 of these channels, actually. One of them being the Offminator, and one of them being Era the T-Rex. I don't know if you remember those 2.
Yeah.
Both of them were mainly on Pyro's channel, and both of them have since stopped doing that.
See, that's what I'm saying, is like, when you get that shout out, when you get that growth, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. You have to keep doing the same thing, essentially, and eventually the other person's gonna get tired of it. Like, I think Pyro made like 3 videos on Katie Triggers Me and then just stopped because he was done. And then before she could start anything with Nafuckers, he just told her off, basically.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't make YouTube videos anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it is unfortunate when you base your channel on something like that.
And like, the same thing goes when roasting channels, for example. I mean, I feel like they would probably have, some channels actually are talented and probably would have something when they get bigger. But I'm saying when they base their stuff on just roasting big YouTubers and stuff.
Yeah, they're going to run out of content eventually.
Yeah. When they get to that point where they got the shout out, they got the growth, they got, the hate from, the other fans, and then you got the publicity. It's just like, what are you going to do when you get to the point that you have the growth, but you don't have anybody else to roast?
I know, exactly, yeah.
Apparently you're going to make, like, roasting everyone and just vanish off the face of the fucking internet.
Just vanish.
Just fucking disappear off the face of the earth. Jesus Christ.
We've never said this, by the way, and a couple people have asked us this because we mentioned it, I think, in one of the earlier episodes. Hot Wet Soup was originally 4 hosts.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And because we haven't said this ever, and we wanted to have him as a guest, but he's literally fucking gone. Like, we haven't heard from him in probably 2 months.
We can't even get a hold of him.
It was going to be roasting everyone. It was going to be the 4 of us originally as the hosts.
A lot of you guys probably have not heard of him. He actually does, his videos that he has are good.
Yeah,
but no, he made one a couple months ago when he briefly came back, and then he immediately fucked off like a week later, and we haven't heard a peep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and I know originally he vanished because of some family-related things, and now he's at school, but even when he was at school, he was still, like, talking to us, but he's just, like, absolutely gone.
Yeah.
Just disappeared off the face of the earth.
It's a bummer because I did want to have him on. I really did, but I just don't see it happening at this point.
He's a person that when he got bigger, I felt like he would come up with something because his jokes are extremely clever and he's actually really good.
He actually spends time on his shit and he sits down and writes his
it's
jokes.
Well thought out and stuff, instead of just saying, oh, your content's bad because this and this. He actually is clever and really
Half
good.
the time he roasts people he likes, which is another thing that takes talent, is to make up negatives about someone you think positively about.
Yeah.
And that voice crack was sexy as hell. But his last video was really good. It was basically a mini stand-up special because it was just called Ponderings and Meditations or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just him like talking about random shit. There was nothing, like, there wasn't based on any YouTubers, nothing like that. It was just a video of him kind of shooting the shit. and it was funny.
Yeah.
And it's why it is a bummer that he's vanished. But like and then at the same time, there are other channels who, Elvis, I know you don't really get along with him, but there's people like Supaz.
Oh, no,
who
we're cool now.
Does
We
roast.
spoke.
Oh, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay, scratch that last one. No one tells Supaz they're not cool. I have old information. I'm sorry. But no, Supaz does YouTuber roasts every now and then. But those aren't the only videos he makes. And I think that's another good way to do it too. He introduced that later and then does other videos as well as YouTuber roasts. And I think that works really well for him as well. I said well 700 times in that sentence.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like my relationship with Sapaz is almost better than a lot of the other YouTubers out there. Like I would say because ever since that beef happened, like he was one of the people that wasn't happy with my video on Leafy. Like he came at me pretty hard about it, and so we started speaking a lot and stuff. But ever since then, like we've been speaking through Skype, and I feel like my relationship with him is stronger than like say Colossal, because I never talk to Colossal, but I feel like
He never talks to anybody.
he doesn't talk to any, yeah, but like he's like a father figure that left when we were 6 years old, you know.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant analogy.
That's so accurate. That's so accurate.
Brought all of
though.
us together and then fucked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helped grow all of our channels and then just disappears.
Yeah.
Here you go.
But it's weird-
Left us to our own devices.
Like, the point I'm trying to say is like sometimes beef can make your relationship with people like much stronger than it was before. It's just
That's
weird.
true.
You know what I mean?
Because when you get beef, you bring everything to the table,
Yeah, yeah,
and
Right.
everything's cleared out, and then you all feel a lot more relaxed about it.
yeah. Then you're all on the
I
same
mean, like we
page.
said earlier on, that's what happened with us. Like, we had a bit of a spat, and talking about it honestly made our friendship way better than
Oh,
it's been
yeah.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Like before, we were like
sometimes that just works.
we were hardly talking through text. Like if anything, we were like once a week. Hey, you want to do the podcast? And
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like we only talked about the podcast.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But now it's completely turned around. It's so crazy how that
Yeah.
works.
Absolutely insane.
We should probably talk about like the Leafy apology and Grades video. What do you guys want to talk about first?
Oh, Leafy's fucking apology.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Rip that band-aid off. Okay, so I will say this about Leafy's apology. It's very evident that the people who were helping him before aren't helping him anymore.
No, I don't think that's true. They're trying, because I know one person, I'm not gonna say his name, that I know did help him, but he just doesn't fucking listen. Like
Did he just straight up ignore someone?
you guys know, I'll tell you after, but like
I think I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
but he was talking with this kid. I think he was talking with other people too, and they were giving him like legitimate advice of what he should do. And he, you know, like he always does, he takes into consideration and then makes his own version that's like twice as bad as he told him. You know what I mean? It's just what he does though. Like he puts his spin on it. Like Nick said, that's what he does. He puts his spin on videos when people tell him what to do. But then it ends up becoming worse because that's just his personality, and he can't help that. It's just what he does, I feel like.
Yeah.
There was a bit in there in particular. Well, there's a couple bits that stood out, but I'll just start with one. Where he mentioned something about how people write his scripts, and he was sarcastically saying like, "Oh yeah, I have a bunch of people writing me dick jokes or whatever." But he says, apart from my rant videos, you can tell that my videos aren't scripted. But the video in specific that Nick mentioned writing was the first Keemstar rant.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not get how he said that. How he said, "Oh, except for these rants that I've made, I don't have scripts." When Nick said, "This is the rant that I wrote."
Wow.
He didn't acknowledge that correctly at all. Nick was not claiming to write his 7th video on Jacob Sartorius.
I know.
Like, that's pretty fucking clearly all Leafy.
I know.
Like, what do you really get help for on that? But when it comes to any video where he has to present evidence or research, that's what Nick was saying he'd helped with. And Leafy said that that's what he gets help with. I
know.
get how that refuted
There was
anything.
no defense there at all.
No, it was just a completely, like, it's like he didn't even watch Nick's video. I was so confused by that.
You want to know the truth? I bet he did not watch all of it.
He probably didn't, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He doesn't.
I would not be
He
surprised.
skims videos. And I know this for a fact because of my Trisha video that he said he loved. Like, he
And
was
then he watched like a minute of
yeah, and then I asked him, I was like, hey, like this part, and he was like, what?
it. Wait, what are you talking about?
I was like, what the fuck? You didn't really watch it? It was like it kind of dawned on me when he said that, but yeah.
It just shows how much he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he just likes, he wants his content to be good. I mean, you can't really blame him for that. Everybody does.
But I don't know how someone could just be so like, because when I make my content, I am so prideful about making everything in it, unless like I want someone to be featured in it
Yeah.
or something. Like I take pride in doing everything myself. So just to see him just not give a shit about using everyone else's stuff, like I would feel so guilty. Like a channel with 5 million subscribers, it's like half of it isn't even my content.
Yeah. I told you
Like,
this, guys. I told
Jesus.
you this in private, but if it were me, if I was in his shoes and you guys were helping me with videos, I would pay you like a couple $1,000 for it. You know, like it wouldn't be like a small
Yeah,
like
he makes like
$20.
yeah, he makes like what, like almost like 400,000 a fucking month.
I know.
And then he can't pay over $20.
It's sad. It's sad.
Well, I think a final was 50, but it does still. It's just like.
And he has the audacity to call Nick his friend after that shit. You know what I mean? Like if he was your friend, you would like pay him a good amount of money for his work. You know, if he was a legitimate friend.
Or want to help him out.
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes. When I was featured in Sears' video, at first it was just because he just found my videos and he liked them. Like there was no previous thing. We've only been talking for like 3 days. Like I mean, I guess you would consider us friends now, but it's just and he shouts me out in his new video.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
just like,
dude.
And you're in it for like
it's
3
respect.
seconds.
Yeah.
It's respect. That's what it is.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's a perfect example, like his video with you, Ed. Like when he put you in his video, like you didn't garner anything from that. Remember?
Which video? Sorry.
Remember when Leafy put you in his video?
And the only reason you were mentioned is because you mentioned yourself.
Yeah, I actually, that's what's really funny about this is not a lot of people have asked me about my experience with Leafy, but frankly, it does match up with Nick's. I just view it totally differently because I never agreed to anything that I didn't like because I didn't really give a shit if he stopped talking to me, to be completely honest with
Yeah.
you. But I was in that 4th Keemstar rant, and I recorded my own part, and I did this carefully. I explicitly recorded it where I named myself in a way that he couldn't edit it out.
Yeah.
Like I make it so the sentence would sound awkward without the greeting of my name.
Yeah.
And and in doing so, I kind of forced his hand because I didn't give him another recording. I sent it to him. He said it was fine, and I went to sleep. So if he'd wanted to ask me about something, like he couldn't have. I took it out of his hands and put it into my own. And the thing with that is I'm not the only one to do that. Because one of the 3 examples he gave of his crediting
Oh, yeah, the quackity
was
thing.
in the end of that YouTuber roast. Yeah. At the end of that YouTube roast, he says, make sure you check out Quackity, Hey Watch Your Mouth, and Bam Boy. But Quackity edited that video and put those slides in because Leafy wasn't going to credit them.
I love how he didn't mention that
But
in his
he-
apology either, you know?
No, he doesn't, but he forced it. And the thing is, he's like, we could sit here for 30 minutes and go through all the times I've credited people. That is
I
every
know.
time he's credited people. That's all of them.
Actually, I think according to someone that I've been talking to, there's like one other example. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
Oh,
Colossal
4.
and Dolan Dark. He made
No,
a
that's
video.
in the video. That's
no, I
in the
mean
video.
like aside from the
No, it's a different video.
yeah.
Oh, another time
Yeah.
where he
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Magic eraser. 4 occasions of all the times. And he doesn't acknowledge the animator point.
Yeah.
Like, you just saying an animator. He's expressed before to me that he regrets that, but like, why would you not say that?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. He can't admit when he's wrong. And I told him this with the fucking iDubbbz video. I'm like, just admit that he had some good points.
I know.
You clearly agree with the fucking transitions point because you shortened them. Like, just say, that's a good point. Maybe it's a nitpick for sure, but it's fair. Give some credit.
Yeah, like
But he didn't. He just justifies all of it like he always does.
why are so many big YouTubers bad at responding to iDubbbz videos? Like, either it's like you're sucking his dick like Keemstar did, or you're like making a response video when there really wasn't a response warranted because it was just a big meme, you know? It was just like,
I don't know why you don't just make fun of him back.
I know, like what the fuck?
Like, that's where I actually have some. Okay, Rice Gum's video on iDubbbz was retarded. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. That was the stupidest video I've ever seen. But if he sticks to that, I admire that his response to a content cop would be a diss track, would be to take the piss out of
Yeah.
iDubbbz. It'll be shit, obviously, but I admire that he's going to go about it in a way that's fun, which is the way it fucking should
Yeah.
be. Like, half of Ian's video is him trying to find Leafy's chin.
know.
It was not that serious. But he takes it deadly serious. It's so...
I know.
And mentioning Keem as well, this is the other qualm I had with the apology, is when he says that he's not going to apologize to Keemstar because he's lied about him or whatever, he doesn't say anything about Nick saying that whole friendship ended for a business decision. Why would you not acknowledge that?
I know.
Like, even if that was why, but you want to deny it, why would you not deny it?
I know.
That just makes him look worse. I just don't get it. That video was awful. Like, I've seen some bad apologies. I mean, I made a YouTube 101 on them when Rice Gum's apology came out, and that's definitely worse than this one, don't get me wrong. But this has a lot of the same problems.
Dude,
it's
I
overlong,
hated-
ads.
I hated how he started it with the fucking PewDiePie brofist thing. Like,
I know.
immediately he's not taking it seriously, you know?
I know.
I feel like everybody should learn from my apology video on Twitter.
That was so good. Just like, whoops.
Oops. I honestly, if Leafy made that apology video, I would love him forever.
If it just a face cam
oops.
video of him like shrugging his shoulders, like, my bad, and that was the whole video. That would
Oops.
be great though. That's all you have to do.
Because everyone would find it fucking hilarious and then just
Right.
accept it.
Like, just accept that what you did was fucked and try not to do it. That's all you have to
I
do.
know exactly. Like, you're kind of digging yourself
not
a hole
hard.
when you.
Everybody's
that.
issue is they always have to say, or they always have to shift the blame. They always have to say, well, yeah, sure, I apologize and stuff, but this,
But,
this.
Yep, there's always a but.
Oh my god.
There's always a
Fucking
but.
geez.
You
Like
can't
they
just
always
say
have
you're
to make
sorry.
it try and seem like they didn't really fuck up that bad
I know.
Yeah,
Just
by
apologize.
like outshining it by
Like,
something else.
Just say sorry.
Well, this reminds me. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but JonTron a while ago, I think on Twitter, called someone a retard or something. And for some reason, you know, this is fucking JonTron, but for some reason, everybody goes really, really mad about this. Like,
Really?
really mad. People are like out for fucking JonTron's blood. I don't, and I still, to this day, I have no idea why people would
Which
say
That
is
this.
is
stupid
weird.
to begin with.
But